Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Groyper Report. Tonight, we have some groundbreaking news to share with you.
Welcome to the Groyper Report. Introducing the most racist men alive. They are shutting it down as we speak. Welcome to the Groyper Report. Sexist. Racist. Phobic this, phobic that. Terrorizing women across the country. Telling them to wear clothes. Saying all women are mid. Minorities fear them. The president has them on speed dial.
Guess what? Your body, my choice.
Brought to you by Frog Aura Maxing. Brought to you by Frog. GigaChat Central, yes, thank you for asking. They all must go. Welcome to the one and only. Defending the last white men on Earth. AtlasThugged and Josh Van Der Nord. This is the Groyper Report.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another broadcast of the Groyper Report. Lord forgive me, couldn't talk. I'm your host, AtlasThugged, aka Aaron Shepard, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Joshua Van Der Nord.
And we are the one network not afraid to say Christ is King. And we appreciate all of you guys for being here. We have a lot to get into. I'm in my Christmas pajamas because I'm celebrating the death of MAGA. And that has basically been the through line throughout the entire week, is a lot of victory laps being ran by those who are in the Groyper camp. I mean, I'm sure many of you are, as we are watching MAGA flail, as it is becoming apparent that Donald Trump was actually Donikin Blewinski. And we're getting lots of loads, pause, of emails.
Resume. Yeah. Yo, let's go.
So
it's driving me nuts.
Right. Well, listen, what was crazy about it was he was mentioned 1,500 times in a batch of 20,000 emails. He was mentioned more than anyone else on this list. And we're going to get into all of that, but I'm going to turn over to Josh. Josh had a great collab with somebody who's becoming a friend of the show. And if you guys didn't see it, I'll let Josh explain.
Yes. So if you did not already see it, we kept it. Zeb and I kept this collaboration a secret as long as we could. We wanted to surprise you guys, and it worked. But I went on with Woman Propaganda. Zeb did as well. His show that he recorded with Hayden airs tomorrow on Compound Censored. If you don't have a subscription, it's just $120 a year. And if you do like a promo code Patriot, which is Hayden's promo code, you get a discount and he gets more money. I recommend you go do it. It's worth it for him, for Gavin McInnes, and for Anthony Cumia alone. But yeah, we went down to I don't know if I should say, but where they are, and did a little bit
works.
of a crypto Jew undercover goy collab. And it was almost prophetic, the timing of it, because we were on our way down there to just do it, period. We had set the date like 2 weeks prior. We go down and Hayden calls Zeb and he's like, dude, the SPLC just wrote an article on me, like a hit piece about me and a bunch of other people, but I'm like the main guy.
It was aggressive.
And they were freaking out. Yeah, they were very like, oh my gosh, are we about to lose our Instagram? And but they were like, this is actually perfect because you can play the crypto Jew, the undercover goy, and give me I'm so happy Hayden McDougal has seen the light. And
let's correct this behavior.
It turned out really good.
Yeah, come over here, Gentile. Listen to me.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. But we appreciate all of you guys coming in. We're going to get started right away with Monday. Now, Monday was a bit different than what we get the rest of the week, because the rest of the week really does kind of focus a bit on MAGA and the Epstein files. On Monday, we actually got Nick's joining with Sneeko of a response to Matt Walsh. And this kind of broke away from the Zohran Mamdani election. And so Matt Walsh and Sneeko began disagreeing and arguing with each other because Matt Walsh was arguing that Zoran won because of tribalistic stuff, and then Sneeko said point blank, he was like, no, Zoran won because he didn't bend the knee to Israel. So you had a bit of a debate blow up between there, and then it quickly turned into Sneeko posting pictures of Matt Walsh as if he was Kaya, as if he was the dog that Hassan owns, which is being shocked and told to stay in one singular place, which it was funny. I love those memes, and I made a video covering a little bit of that. But what we got was Nick actually joining up with Sneeko to also attack Matt. So that'll be the first clip that we're going to play today. This was a thrashing of Matt Walsh if I've ever seen one. But here's the first clip. Let me go ahead and swing it over for you guys. Let's get started.
America's a Christian nation. If you're out there and you're supporting this, you're a cuck. Matt Walsh, you're a cuck. I'd be ashamed if you were my dad. You're a pathetic excuse for a man. Fuck you. And I saw Matt Walsh, who works for this little guy. I saw Matt Walsh, who works for this little guy, Ben Shapiro. He got in a little debate with Sneeko. And Sneeko is what he is. He's a Muslim. He defends Haiti. He defended Zoran Mamdani. And Matt Walsh likes to pivot to that. He says, well, Sneeko's brown. Sneeko's Muslim. Sneeko's a third worldist. Yeah, and you know what, Walsh? All those things are true. What's your excuse? You're right, Matt. Sneeko is Muslim. You're right. Sneeko is Haitian. He is non-white. What's your excuse? Here's the difference. Sneeko is taking his own side. Sneeko is Haitian. He speaks up for Haitians. Sneeko is Muslim in part because he's influenced by Malcolm X, and Sneeko's part black. He's taking his own side. And you could say what you want about that. But in principle, he's loyal to his people. What's your excuse? Enough with the deflection. Enough running cover for Israel while heaping disdain on brown people. We all see what you're doing. Matt Walsh, as much as you beat your chest about being American and being white and being Christian, you are a cuck for a Jewish Zionist who hates Christ, who doesn't like Europeans, and isn't loyal to America. And he signs your paychecks, and you work for him. And you say you're personally loyal to him? You are the biggest joke, cuck, traitor, embarrassment to our people there is. What's your excuse? Seriously, people have had enough of all of these white people beating their chest about being white, being Christian. I'm American. I'm a heritage American. And yet you cannot even stand up for your own country's independence because you're terrified. Can't stand up for your own church, your own savior, who they hate. Can't stand up for your race, which they also hate. And at the minimum are apathetic about our extinction. And by the way, Matt Walsh said to, I think, Megyn Kelly, he said, well, I'm personally loyal to Shapiro. He said, Shapiro's my friend, and I'm personally loyal to him, and no one's going to make me go against him. You know what Shapiro said to Megyn Kelly a few days later? He said, personal friendships don't get in the way of my morality. If someone's being anti-Semitic, I'll call them out for it. And that's the difference between a bitch and someone who's serious. That's the difference between a slave and a master. That's the difference between a vassal and a feudal lord. That's the difference.
So that was the absolute beatdown of Matt Walsh from Nick, and it's kind of going in the same, it's the same rhetoric which has always been there. And I'll kind of give a bit of a forward position, which is I'm kind of the belief that I don't think Matt Walsh will ever change sides. I don't think Matt Walsh is ever going to walk away from the Daily Wire. I don't know if it's a matter of contractual obligation or if it's a matter of simply he has picked his side. He's picked the side he thinks is going to win. But I have zero faith in Matt Walsh, so I'm curious what your thoughts are, Josh. Oh, Josh, you're muted.
I appear to be muted. I am apologizing to you all right now. But okay, so my point is essentially, I don't even know how relevant Matt Walsh really is. I mean, I guess a lot of people like him, but in like certain spheres he's kind of looked down upon. I almost think that Nick's fixation with Matt Walsh is because Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles are who is keeping Ben Shapiro afloat, and Nick hates Ben Shapiro, or, has beef with Ben Shapiro, obviously.
Right.
So I think he does want Matt Walsh to quit for that reason, and that's why he's fixating on him. But you're absolutely right, Atlas. Matt Walsh is not he's not what he is pretending to be. He is not as he presents. He's not macho. He's not cool. And I guarantee he's afraid to do his own thing because he's always had a boss, he's the type of guy that can't exist without. It's just simpler to go to a studio where everything is done for, all the behind the scenes things are done for him. The staff is provided to him and he just goes and then he gets a check in the mail. I bet his wife handles all the finances, that type of stuff. I mean,
right.
And if anything, the comment that he made about how he is personally loyal to Ben Shapiro, nail in the coffin, dude. He is a house, and he is never coming off the plantation.
I agree. This is kind of the same way that I would frame like JD Vance as well, which is for me, like the way I look at it, I kind of zoom out and I go, when I was like, 22 or 23 years old, I was paying attention to politics, and it was very quickly and easily ascertainable to me as I was paying attention and lurking kind of like where the waters were flowing. And so take JD Vance, for example, right? He was a never Trumper when everybody was largely pro-Trump, especially those who were like, early 2016 energy. The same way I'm kind of looking at Matt Walsh now, which is like, after everything, Matt, like you're still there. Like everything that's happened, all of the different kind of back and forth, you'd still be personally loyal to this guy. Like at what point then would you have a moral line to say like, hey, my friend is out of line and I need to be the one to pull him back in line? Isn't that kind of like what friends are for? But again, it's kind of like all empty rhetoric. I do want to go to the super chat though, because it's to you, Josh.
Ooh,
they say
baby.
Josh is looking snazzy tonight. That is from Smelly Balls. We do appreciate your donation and a great name.
Thank you, Smelly Balls. Yeah, Smelly Balls is someone who he's like an original from my channel, which is extremely rare because my channel basically just got made because Zeb and I are not like breaking up, but we're kind of dedicating more time to the New American Vision Network rather than specifically doing Outside the Overton. So thank you, Smelly Balls. Shout out to Smelly Balls.
Thank you very much, brother. We appreciate it. Moving on to the next topic here on Monday, to be the wrap up for Monday, was the clip from Ben Shapiro that kind of came at later on in the day, kind of circulated a bit later on, but it was basically Ben telling Americans if they don't like that the fact that the living situation's too expensive to move. And this is kind of more of the same of this ear-splitting rhetoric, this kind of, nails on a chalkboard. Is like, that's not the message the American people want to hear. We do have Nick responding to that, but first we will play the actual clip of Ben Shapiro saying this nonsense. But here it is. Let me get it up on screen for you guys.
For a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up, but the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that. The history of America is you go to a place where there is opportunity. And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places where you have better opportunities. If you're a young person.
So that was the clip from Ben. Only the short one, like 26 seconds long, but he's basically saying, move out west. The foreigners have taken over. We own New York now. Flee western. And here is Nick's response to this clip of Ben Shapiro saying this absolute nonsense.
The American government to take care of Israel, but not Americans. So if someone who was born in New York City says, I want the government to help me, Ben Shapiro says, you're an ingrate, you're entitled. You're only entitled to opportunity. But when Israel's in trouble, they're entitled to help from the U.S. government. If you're an American and you say, I want the government to help me, you're an ingrate, you're a spoiled brat, you're entitled, you're a millennial. When Israel's in trouble and says, I need the American government to help me, Ben Shapiro says, you better give them the missiles. You better give them the foreign aid or Israel's. That's the part that people really hate. The double standard is obvious. It's offensive. It's hypocritical. It's insulting. That's where people say, take your dual loyalty and go home. But to add to it, what makes it truly reprehensible, what makes it truly disgusting, they're not happy with the double standard. To add insult to injury, they want America to pay for their ethno-states. America will have no community. America will have no nationhood. America has no right to an identity, a sense of belonging, a sense of looking after one another. The government has this sort of role. It's not and Israel does. No, our government will also help them. So they have their nation and ours. God promised them the land. God promised them their ethno-state, and God promised them American aid. God promised them that America's going to pay for it. So Shapiro, with his Israeli wife, Israeli kids, his Israeli loyalties, he's got one set of standards for Israel and another for us. And at the same time is going to use his citizenship to lobby for welfare for Israel, but not for Americans. For Americans, he says, get lost, buy a bus ticket, get a job. For Israel, he says, think of the hostages, think of the Jews. How much do you have to actually hate a group of people to do this to them? Seriously. Josh Hammer, who used to work for Daily Wire, says Europeans have anti-Semitism in their DNA. Mark Levin said the same thing. How much do you have to hate a people to live among them, thinking they hate you, but going and telling them, we're your closest ally. You need us. You got all your ideas from us. You don't deserve anything. You're not entitled to anything, but you have to keep paying for our country. How much do you have to hate a people to do this? Take your Israeli.
And I think that's honestly the
go.
That's the answer, right? Or that's the question to ask: is how much do these people hate us? But you, Josh, your thoughts? I think you might be muted again.
Am I?
No, you're good now.
Okay. Yeah. So this is one of those moments where, like, it's one of those things, like, we will watch Ben Shapiro say these things and we either consciously or subconsciously understand what he's saying. But I think this is another reason why Nick is such an effective broadcaster, why his show is loved by all, is because he will take the things that we all just go, yeah, man, that's crazy. But he like puts it in your face where it's like, no. Think about it. Think about what Ben Shapiro is saying. If you can't afford to live in the nation that your ancestors built, if you can't afford to live in my economic zone, my host nation that I'm sucking the resources out of, tough titties, but you got to fight and die for my people. The hypocrisy and just how out of touch Ben Shapiro is mind-boggling. And it's one of those things, like, I didn't even watch Ben Shapiro. Like, the only time I even see him anymore is whenever Nick or other people just say, look what a stupid thing he said.
Right.
This is bananas. Like, the fact that he even said this, it's like, I think Ben Shapiro is a smart guy, but, like, how did he not see this backfiring?
So it's the gaslighting too, right? And to your first point, right? Like, Nick is, in my opinion, the greatest orator of our time. And like, this is the reason why his shows do so well, is a lot of people are talking about a lot of the things, right? Politics is loaded with a lot of podcasters. Everyone's giving their opinion, but nobody says it quite like that. And it's the ability to articulate things in a way that, for one, is provocative, two, is edgy, and three, gets the point across and conveys the thoughts much better than anyone else can. But it's the gaslighting that really pisses me off. And especially from people like Laura Loomer as well. You know, Ben Shapiro is one of them, but there's people who actually do it worse. And Laura Loomer now, I'm sure many people have seen this. She's like now doing this now pouty thing where she's like, I'm done supporting Israel. I just want all the support to Israel to be done so Israel can do what they want and stand alone as a nation. And it's like, does this sound like the rhetoric coming from somebody who cares about America first? Like, no. It's like no one would be doing this performative, like, oh, woe is me bullshit over a foreign nation if they didn't have extreme fealty to that. And that's kind of the point here, which is like, we're not asking for you to be 51% America, 49% Israel. We're asking 100% for America and -% for everybody else. And like, that's obviously where the contention is mostly. We did have another super chat here, though. But go ahead, Josh.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say, and it's not even like the problem is with these people is, and it's not just even Jews. It's like just pick any issue in their category. And it's basically, it's not enough for us to say, look, you're a Jew. You're Israel first. I get it, but I'm America first. It's not enough for them to go, okay, like we have to be on their side. That's the only condition that they will accept. It's like, no, you can't take your own side. You have to take mine because some trains and showers or whatever, that lampshades and bars of soap.
Right. But it is funny on those ends too, because that's what they're not getting. It's like the average perspective from the American person is billions to Israel, billions to Ukraine, billions to wherever, and then it's like, oh, how bad is the housing, in New York City and all these areas, and the FEMA thing was a great point. We'll get to that later as well. And nope, nothing for you. You know what Ben Shapiro says? Actually, it's probably your fault anyways that you can't afford it. I guess you need to go live in Colorado. Guess you need to up and leave. Who cares if you were born here? It doesn't matter. You know what does matter? 70 billion to Israel tomorrow. And it's like they don't understand how they come off to people. But to get to the super chat, it's from Boo Radley. He says, Red Heifer or Abby Shapiro? I'll take Abby Shapiro. Josh?
Hey, stay back. She's mine. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Did you see that photo, though, that went viral of her?
Was it recent or back?
Yeah, it was literally just like a week ago.
No, I hadn't.
Bro, she's doing it on purpose.
Oh, no. Okay, because I saw the one from years ago where I was like, mama, but I was like, oh no. Like when you said it was recent, I was like, oh no, is she fat now? Okay, but apparently she's not.
No, it was a recent one. It was something like, get ready to like teach my class or something like that. And it's her like wearing the tightest t-shirt you've ever seen in your entire life, bro. I'm not even joking. And so it seems like it's inconspicuous, but it's not.
That's the strat, bro. Ben Shapiro, Ben's whipping out the big guns. People
were saying the timing of this post was odd.
Yeah. He was like, Abigail, we need you.
It's true though. I mean, the honeypot thing is real. And I think, just another side point before we continue on,
go home.
I think people do underestimate how much the honeypot is a thing. When you look at a lot of the wives of some of these people, and Nick is really good at pointing this out as well, but, Israeli wife, who's this guy married to? Oh, an Israeli wife. And it's odd because it's kind of what you expect normally is all these business guys, right? They end up with these Asian women because they kind of threw their social skills in the background to just get a lot of money. And so they figured they'll make up for it with billions later on. They'll just pick up a lady from Thailand or whatever. It is astonishing to me. The more and more you look into it, you will find here's an American and who's he married to? An Israeli. And I think that does actually need to be something to be looked at, especially as we are really kind of having a lot of this, reflection of what our values are here as an America first and who we are as a people. And when you see so many of the people who are meant to represent you are intermarried into ethnicities and religions that aren't American, it's a very easy question to ask. Is this the person that you can trust with my mission when it's like your family clearly isn't the same as mine, right? Like I'm not going to be having to have any, Hindu rehab classes, right? Like we're just Christian here, there's none of this kind of walk back like Ushu Vance or an Israeli wife. But
oh yeah, I mean, and
go ahead.
Ben Shapiro, I mean, like is he even pretending to be an American? You know what I mean? Like his wife is a foreigner. He didn't want to live in Nashville, Tennessee, where his company is headquartered because there's not enough Jews there. So he moved to where is it? Like
Miami,
hell, Florida.
Yeah, there's like 3 places, right? It's like New York, L.A. and Miami. I think that's like the three big hubs of like, Jewish power here in
Yeah.
America.
I know they call it Newton, Massachusetts. So Newton, Massachusetts, they call it.
Is that real?
Yeah. You
Okay.
haven't heard of that?
I haven't, no.
That's a real thing.
We got another big super chat in here, though. This is
let's
from
go.
Ben Johnson. It says, Israel conflict. We know Israel loses the PR war. Conservatives hate the money waste and influence. Liberals hate the bombing of Gaza. It's hard to understand why any politician would support Israel. Well, Josh, do you have a response to that?
Yeah, it's actually easy to understand why they would support Israel because of money. What's hard to understand is how they try to sell it to us. Where and they're doing their best. Where for their strat for the Christians is, oh well, they're God's chosen people. Ted Cruz, I'm a Bible thumping American, and I love Jesus, and Jesus says to give the Jews your kids' firstborn's blood. And that's like the rhetoric we always hear from these people. And again, they won't even like explain to you why this is necessary. They just say, oh, we need to protect them because there are like our force out there in the middle of the desert. And then they say things like, like it's their right to exist. They go, oh, so you don't think they have a right to exist? This is like gaslighting 101. This is like female argument 101. And this is our politicians. This is our elected officials.
Yeah, well, and a lot of this does go to the blackmail operation as well. And what gets tied into that too. So even the politicians who you probably wouldn't expect ultimately probably get roped in via, either blackmail or some kind of leverage like that. But I agree with the sentiment here. For anybody who kind of like, once they begin to kind of get down into what's going on, you look at it, you go, this actually doesn't make any sense at all. But once you get to where me and Josh are and you pay attention to a bit of a deeper level, you see the same kind of pattern of behavior over and over again, right? Between if you follow the money, same thing with I said with the honeypots, you find out that, oh, someone in their family just so happens to be from Israel. And you can find that they were basically kind of embedded at a later date and they were kind of groomed to the position they were in. And that's what we talk about when so much of politics is theater. It's like when you finally first heard of somebody, just understand Israel probably had them in their sights 5 years ago. And it's like, this is kind of like part of what goes into it. And so when you arrive to the voting booth, it's basically like the table was already predetermined. And that's why it's so advantageous to get ahead of things years in advance. But kind of similar to where Nick is at. But again, when you do things too early, people think you're just being a naysayer or you're pulling away or you're grifting, etc. But moving on to Tuesday, Josh, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so Tuesday was a big day. And this was kind of... I'm misremembering. Hold on. Let me pull up my notes real quick. Tuesday, the 11th.
Too slow. Anyways.
Okay.
Just messing.
Yeah, basically. Oh, yes. This is when Donald Trump made the 600,000 comment. This is when he went on with Laura Ingraham. And he basically denounced America first. He went on and destroyed. He put the nail in the coffin. We've all been suspicious. He's been letting us down ever since 2015, 2016. It's been a never-ending failure. And now if anyone was still on board, you should not be, because Laura Ingraham said, well, we have talented Americans. And he goes, not really. He put us down for the sake of 600,000 Chinese people. So we have a clip, Nick Fuentes going off. You want to pull that one up?
Yes, sir. Number one.
Yes, number one.
Queuing it up right now. All right, we got it.
Is over. And now the question is, what comes next? Trumpism is over. I hate to inform you, this administration is done. Stick a fork in it, it's fucking over. We played this game. It's deja vu. I was there for the first term, and I remember right up until 2020, I was saying, okay, we could still make a difference. I remember in like spring 2020, I was coping. Trust me when I tell you it's over. We're out of time. Okay? Because it's Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving in 2 weeks. It's Christmas a month after that. Then it's the midterms. You think they're going to do mass deportations and federal control of Chicago during the midterms? Do you think Putin's going to end the war during the midterms? They're not. Okay? We're going to get slaughtered in the midterms. Democrats are going to control the House, and then they're going to shut the White House down. Things are going to get worse, not better. this administration. Trump is getting worse. He's 80 years old. The people are terrible. Kristi Noem is a fucking idiot, and she's running DHS. It's not going to happen. And then in 2027, the whole cabinet is going to run for president. Congratulations, Trump. You filled up your cabinet with people that don't care about America. They just want to be president. And in 2027, 2 months after the midterms, half the cabinet is going to announce their run for the presidency. J.D. Vance, Vice President, Mark Rubio, Secretary of State, Kristi Noem, Secretary of DHS, maybe RFK Jr., HHS. You think they're going to be able to make America great again when half the cabinet is running for president and Democrats control Congress and they're impeaching Trump? Never going to happen. It's over. And I told you it would happen like this exactly. I said, no mass deportations, H-1Bs. You're getting a war with Iran. I said, they're not going to bring in the right personnel. They're going to stall. They're not going to hit the ground running because they have no plan. They're disorganized. They're going to blow a whole year. And if they do that, then you don't have as much time as you think. They'll run out the clock. It will happen, as I said, and then it'll be 2028 before you know it. And it has come to pass. Here, this is your golden age. All you plan trusters coping and seething, fuck you. All you people, John Doyle, Patrick Casey, Jack Posobiec, Zero HP Lovecraft, Bronze Age pervert, all you fucking cocksucking Jews and stupid true goyim that told us that's a throwaway remark. Don't trust the plan doubters and the disloyal. Hey, Patriot, we're trusting the plan. Fuck you. You were wrong and you have ruined the country as a result. Take your Israeli family and
Damn.
go
Is he wrong?
I mean,
home.
Exactly. And Atlas, I want to get your thoughts on that because we've seen the clip now and we know the news story, but I'm genuinely curious about what was your reaction to actually seeing the clip from Donald Trump?
I was disgusted, but I also wasn't surprised either. I guess I was more so. My biggest takeaway from the clip actually was the fact that Laura Ingraham, of all people, was like pressing Trump. You know, and so understand that like this is, you know, the Fox and Friends, Laura Ingraham, right? It's like this is the buddiest of buddies that you can get with Donald Trump. And even she is like kind of taken aback at the fact that Trump is pressing so hard for this. And then his reasoning is so we can make sure that historically black colleges and universities can stay in business. Like, fuck that. And the big thing too is credit to House as well. House put this in my chat because I think the follow-up quote from Donald Trump was that, you know, we can't pull in people who have been in the unemployment line for 5 years and have them making missiles. And House put this great piece in there, which was, you know, how does everybody think, you know, World War I went? you know, all these different eras and times that, you know, when war came for a group of people and nations, you know, people did do what they had to do, right? They would melt down certain things that didn't even melt it down. You know, you have all this pig iron from different eras. Like it's happened and it will happen again. And so this idea that, you know, Americans are inferior, we need to be importing a bajillion Indians to make up for some of this stuff. It falls on empty rhetoric. And it's exactly what most people have been saying. You know, MAGA's dead and Trump killed it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's ridiculous the kind of stuff that's going on and like the coping. I mean, and I know what you just said, Atlas, where you said you were shocked but not very surprised. I feel the same way, but I was telling Zeb when we were driving back from our collab with Woman Propaganda, I told him, I was just like sitting there thinking about it. And I was like, dude, like I've known for a long time that Trump is not our guy and that Trump has essentially betrayed us. But like, there was something just like gut wrenching about that, where he was so like, he was like, well, we need the talented people. And she was like, we have talented people here. And he's like, nah. Like just how dismissive he was of you, of me, of Americans, your parents, your siblings. Like he just hand waved it away. No, we don't have talented people here. Not like Indians, like Chinese people. Okay, why are they coming to college here then? Why are they getting educated here? This is for students.
Yeah.
So what are they coming here for? Like, it's ridiculous. Why not give those educations to Americans?
Right.
Well, okay. And this was something, it's not in this clip, and I don't think it's in any of the other ones we had, but Nick made the point where he goes, dude, okay, even the historic black colleges, forget even that comment, just all the colleges. What he's really saying is all the colleges are going to go under. Well, not all of them, but most of them, like the industry. And
Right.
Nick's point was, who cares? Who cares? They're a net negative. They're turning young people into debt slaves. And the education they're providing isn't even that good. It's dwindling. Like, these college professors are retarded. Just let it go. And guess what? If it did go under, the federal government's going to bail them out anyway.
Right. That too. And I have a couple points I'll say, but let me get the super chat in first. This is from Zeb. Zeb Boykin, he says, like the stream if you haven't yet. Definitely smash the like button. Otherwise, you probably are gay. And then he writes, share this areas in your group chats so we can grow before YouTube destroys us. Also, MAGA is dead and Trump killed it. In a side note on that sidebar, yeah, we did get hit with hate speech for Josh telling. I don't even want to risk saying it again. To be honest, if you want to see what was said, yeah, say it. See it on X, I guess.
Yeah, but essentially, like, and I was surprised because of all the things said in that debate. When I was like, oh, we got hit with a thing, I was like, oh no.
I thought it was going to be that.
I did too. And then it was like, hey, young men, there's hope. It was literally like, hey, young men, push forward. There's hope. Don't end it. You know, like, be there. Christ is king. There's light at the end of the tunnel. That was the hates, the inciting people to violence that they flagged us for. Ridiculous.
It was
Shout
insane.
out to our I don't know what his official title is, but our mystery man, our producer who runs the NAV social media stuff. He posted a banger tweet about it today.
Yeah. No, and great work. And we do appreciate all the people helping out at NAV. Thank you very much. But to respond to your thing before we go to the next clip, one thing I would add too is think about colleges in general as well, right? This whole idea that we don't have skilled people, but we've known for the past 5-6 years or so, if not even longer, that white men have specifically been having an exodus from college campuses. And largely because they go there just to be told that everyone hates them and that actually they need to hate themselves and they need to internalize this and they're at the bottom of the pecking order. And it's more of this kind of DEI nonsense. And so I think, some of the rates were like, declining by 40% in some areas. And then to know that that's a thing, and supposedly we're voting for the person and the people who know that that was happening to us to help us, they go, well, you know what? We know that colleges basically kind of screwed you guys, but we're going to go ahead and skip you over for these Indians because and he said this too, because America's a business. That's how I look at it. I look at this like a business. And that's not how your president should be acting. Your president should not be treating your country as a business. And this is the point when people get across, the mainstream conservatives, what do they conserve? The GDP. And if all you care about is the GDP, you are not one of we.
Take your Israeli family.
Banger,
and
dude. I like it.
Home. Take your Israeli family.
Yeah, dude, that's ridiculous. But we are moving pretty, like, the time is flying by. Do you want to go ahead and move into Wednesday, get a little bit of the gaming stream in?
Yeah, definitely. We got 2 super chats actually real quick. I'll go to these before you switch over to Wednesday.
Go.
This first one here is from J.R. Williams. He says, why blow up MAGA and lose midterm? I don't believe Trump is senile and blissfully unaware. AI Baghdadi is in the Oval. More H-1Bs and war Venezuela is a first.
America first.
Interesting. The Venezuela thing's a bit nuanced. But to not believe that Trump is senile, I think that's kind of ridiculous, right? I think the biggest thing that we had here that showed that he was senile was when he got a presentation from Bill Pulte about the 50-year mortgages. In the report that we have is literally, there's a 3x5 poster showing Roosevelt and Trump on the same thing that says great presidents. The report was that 10 minutes after hearing this presentation, Donald Trump pushed it and posted it out. And the follow-up to that, because they knew how bad it was, because Trump's just being a bumbling idiot, and it's probably because he's old, was Scott Bessent had to come out and basically run cover for him. And then the entire White House basically threw the blame on Bill Pulte as if he was the problem here. But they were all doing that to basically run cover for the fact that Trump did something dumb and shouldn't have posted something like that. And then they had to run cover for it. And we are kind of running out on time, and we got more super chats in. I'm just going to go to this next one here. This is from Mark Vendy. He says 99% of our women wear yoga pants. There's no hope outside of something 99% like Sharia. I'm inclined to agree with you there. Josh, you have a response to that one?
Not that one specifically. Would you mind pulling up the last one though? I just want to say something on that one real quick. That last one was funny though. So to this one, he goes, why lose the why give up MAGA, blow up MAGA for the midterm? Okay. And what? It would be so the point of winning the midterm is so we keep the House and the Senate, which is what they have right now. So what's the point? We're losing. We're not getting anything. So what is even the point? Why? This is get it out of your head. This is not football. Your guys, your team winning the election is not a victory. The policies they implement when in office, that's the real victory. And if that's the metric we're going on, we haven't won a game in decades, bro. So get this out of your head. This is not a vape, by the way. This is breath mint. I realized that was in my hand.
You're good. And I agree. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Democrats are going to win the midterm. It's going to get ugly. And the bigger point there too is the thing on the optics with mass deportations. That has always been my argument, which was I never felt at any point that we would ever going to get mass deportations because I didn't think the Republican conglomerate would be able to survive the nonstop mass printing of New York Times going, oh, the horror, look at this fat Mexican dad getting drug out of his car, and that kind of stuff. And obviously with the midterms up and Polly Market's what, like 70% chance the Democrats are going to take over the House. I mean, it's cooked. And this is a referendum. The thing is if they wanted people to vote in the midterms, they probably should have done the shit that they promised us, right? Kind of simple there. Going to House Leotardo.
Should lose. And
also, I'll say this too. We appreciate the donations. Thank you very much. Uncle House Leotardo with a 20 bomb. He says, create fissure within different anti-Semitic groups. Project Esther. They wrote it down for all to see, and some of you are doing the work for them. Man, $20 well spent. Appreciate that, House. And this is true. If you don't know anything about Project Esther, you are behind the times. Definitely look out Project Esther. There's many great sources for that. I am, myself included, makes a small documentary on it. Nick has talked about it a lot. Also check out Emily Yousis, Youcis. She has also done some pretty good work on that too. Definitely check that out. But moving on, we're going on to Wednesday. And Wednesday was not a normal show day for Nick. Wednesday was actually a gaming stream. And so it's kind of cool, although not my kind of cup of tea, so I struggled to watch through it. It was with Cuffum, it was with Cheezer, it was with Aiden Ross, it was with Clavicular, or Clavs, and a couple other guys that I don't really know about. But the point there, I just wanted to bring this up. The overall reach of all those guys, I think so. Cheezer's got 175,000 followers. Cuffum has 170,000 followers. Clavs has about 100,000. Aiden Ross has about 2 million. Nick obviously has his own following. And so I think that's kind of cool because that means that Nick was, at least for a day, was probably permeating a bunch of different audiences that he normally isn't in, especially Cuffum and Cheezer, I would imagine. Well, maybe less so Cheezer, but definitely more so Cuffum. But there was a couple funny bits. There's going to be some funny reprieve here. But this is one of the first one. And it's kind of funny because Aiden and Nick kind of have a good relationship now. And I think their relationship is kind of how we should, the relation between Gentiles and Jews should kind of be like this. But it was funny. And I'll go ahead and play this here. Here it is.
All right, everybody be cool. Everybody relax.
Hey, I'm doing my tasks.
Me too.
Bruh.
All right, I'm gonna just stand over here.
Why are you wearing a gas mask, fat ass?
Because Nick's around here, dude. I don't want them to have
What do I
you
look
know?
like? What do I look like?
You're weird. Let's do our tasks.
All right, let's go do our tasks.
Nick, you could trust me. I'm your
Bro,
friend. I'm
bro,
your friend. I'm your friend. You can
Bro.
trust me, Nick.
Back it up.
Nick, I'm your friend. I would never do it, Nick.
Dude,
I'm your friend.
you're getting a little close.
You can
Who is
trust
this?
It's Aiden. You could trust me. I'm your friend.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
All right,
listen.
hey, do your tasks.
Can you come kiss this wall over here?
Dude, get away.
I want you to
Bro.
kiss this wall.
I
Come
knew
here.
this would happen. I knew it was
here.
going to be this way.
Just kiss this wall.
Get away. Get away from me.
Whoa!
Ooh, wait a minute.
Yo!
Wait a minute.
Yo,
hell
listen,
no.
it's Nick.
Alright.
It's Nick. It's Nick. I'm not joking.
It's not me.
Hold
It's
on.
Nick. I
It's
saw Nick
Aiden,
kill
it's
Cheeser.
Aiden.
I promise you.
What
I
at
listened to
time?
I did
What
not
at
kill
time?
Cheeser.
I called it. I called it. Listen, I'll explain it. I was
Thank
following
God
Nick.
you killed. I just want
Thank
to
you
say,
for
thank God you
That's
killed
a
him
He's
first.
a
I was
liar.
just with Cheeser. I was just
He
with
lies.
Cheeser.
Just listen. I would never
Thank
lie.
you.
I would never lie. I'm your friend. Listen, cuff.
Hello.
No,
Hold
there's
on.
no Jew tactics, guys. Just please listen, bro.
Hold on.
I wouldn't lie to you guys. I called it. I announced it, guys. I promise you. I saw Nick kill. Bro, he was talking about some real
Okay,
anti-Semitism.
Who are you going to
Let
talk?
Nick
Me or
talk.
him?
Nick.
I'm
Now
not
let
going to
Nick
say
talk.
anything, but...
I-
All right, who's
Go
talking?
ahead, Nick.
Cuff, he's a noob.
No,
He
you
doesn't know how to
talk,
play the
Nick.
game.
Nick, we gotta talk, nigga. What did you see, Nick? Why is he blaming you?
Aiden was chasing me, and then he disappeared, and then I think he self-reported.
Marky and Sweater.
He's
You
a
guys see?
Yo.
Marky
I'm
and
not
Sweater.
gonna lie.
I was with you guys alone. You could have killed me. I would never
No, I
lie.
think you left alone with Nick. I saw you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then I watched him kill Cheeser. He killed Cheeser.
He self-reported. He self-reported. He's chasing me the whole time, telling me to kiss the wall in Israel.
I would never
And then
say
he
that.
disappeared for 2
Skip.
seconds and
Wait,
self-reported.
I
He's
would
the
never-
imposter.
No, I'm not. Guys, please
Trust your
me.
gut on this one. Trust
Guys,
it.
guys,
The
guys,
stereotypes
it's not
are
me.
real.
It's not
You
me.
are a terrible. You are a terrible
Guys,
liar. You
he's
are
an
a terrible liar.
anti-Semite. He's an anti-Semite. Trust me.
That's
I-
not gonna
Good.
work
He did
here.
not.
That's not
That
gonna
I
was
work
didn't
good.
kill
here.
anybody.
Watch me do my task, Cuffin, please. That's
If
all I
you're
ask.
anti-Semite, that's good. That's good then. Shit.
Wait,
We both need to stay on top of Aiden. We both need to
Berkey,
watch. He's
stop with the soundboard!
I voted. Oh God, fat ass.
Vote
That's
Aiden.
it.
It's definitely Aiden.
Get that CP out your phone.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Oh, that CP.
So that was just a bit of a funny moment to show you this is kind of basically the general gist of how all of the conversations were going the whole time. I thought the funniest moment was that when Nick said, "I knew it was always going to happen this way." That cracked me up a bunch. But to just hear these other like big streamers kind of say like, you know, Jewish tricks, go kiss the wall, Israel. It's showing that it's reaching a much higher level than it's ever been in the last literally like 50 years.
Yeah, and something I thought was real fun about this clip, about that stream. I didn't watch the whole thing. That's not really my can of worms either. But what I enjoyed about it is it's like, guys, we're different, but can't we just get along? You know what I mean? Like if a black guy was truly making fun of white people in jest, you know, it was all in good fun, all in good spirit. That's all fine and well. You know what I mean? And the same thing, like, why can't we, you know, have a little bit of back and forth? You say, you know, like with Italians, you know, we got like Frank the Tank, he's Italian, and I'm hey, greaseball, I hope I can say that. But, you know, I say like Italian stereotypes to him, and it's all in good fun. Wouldn't it be nice if we could all just do that?
Right? No, I completely agree. And this is kind of, you know, for a lot of, I think it's the Gen X, right? I think Gen X always talks about how this kind of weird period towards the end of the 80s and the early 90s was kind of, they always say they pin that as the best moment for race relations. It felt like things really kind of had basically reached their peak before, you know, everything kind of started working itself backwards. But I mean, I agree. And I'm more so just overall glad that it's like, this is the kind of stuff that is very beneficial. And then imagine throwing in Asmongold in there, right? And we've brought him up on the show many times. And I do think still right now, since he's multi-streamed, he is like the biggest audience capture, you know, for a streamer in the market. And it's to show you like these ideas aren't going anywhere. And think of the super chat, brother. But the ideas aren't going anywhere. And I do ultimately think that we have reached this kind of mass point where, you know, they can't ban all of us. And so I think we have gained enough ground where YouTube is going to have to be a lot more selective with what they actually nuke off the platform, meaning that the base rhetoric we're allowed to kind of have on these kind of subjects is now a lot more welcomed, and it can be a lot more entered into mainstream stuff. And that is what I think is the best part about all of this. But to go to the super chat, this is from the Pasty Boy. He says, good for Nick gaming and having fun. Yes, and I do think it is good to also have Nick be seen in that light, and not in like always the angry 30-second clips that everybody wants to do from his greatest hits, you know, and show him in a better light than that. And then I think for this one, we really only have 2 more on Wednesday. How much time do we have?
We're almost an hour in.
Interesting. 50 minutes? Okay, so let's do this.
Let's just do one of those clips, whichever one you think is best, and then we'll move on to later in the week.
Yeah, so I was going to go move on to the Tucker Carlson one. So
Yeah.
at the end of it's at the end of Wednesday. I'm not too familiar with when actual Tucker Carlson posts. Yeah, appreciate that very much, brother. Thank you. But he did post, and Tucker Carlson called out Ben Shapiro for his treatment of Nick and us, basically all young men who think like us and who are aligned with where Nick is at. So let's take a listen to Tucker Carlson standing up. We got a big guy standing up for us. Adult is in the room, and we'll go to the super chat right after.
You want people to follow you? You want to sell your ideas to them? You want to convince them that what you're saying is true? Show some love for them. Demonstrate that you love them. You care about them. Why are we doing this? Because we think it's better for you. Shapiro and all of these guys, they don't make an effort to do that because they don't feel that way at all. Shut up, cattle. You're a Nazi. Give us the money for our preferred little country, or else we're going to denounce you. Man, those attitudes are incompatible with leadership and, in fact, with democracy itself. You can't have a country of 350 million people governed by boutique goals and concerns. I really care so much about this thing, and you better care about it too, or else I'm going to attack you and deplatform you. It doesn't work. It's illegitimate, actually. And if you keep it up, you're flirting with, real backlash, like a real one. Not Nick Fuentes, like a real one. So cool it. Listen to other people. Don't treat them like cattle. Treat them like human beings.
That is Tucker with a banger, ending it with don't treat them like cattle, treat them like human beings. And I do agree. But before we do, let me get to these super chats. I don't want to miss them, actually. We have this first one here from Ravin, and he says, did you see the full VOD of Nick chasing Ben in GTA? Not just a small clip. Yes, I did. He says, spoiler, there's a huge reversal that was missed. I encourage everybody to watch the full clip. It's like 7 minutes long, actually. It's pretty good. This next one, though, from Mark Vendy, again, thank you for the super chat. He says, not all Italians are in the mob, and there's many non-Italian mob associates and many Italian FBI agents. Thus, La Cosa Nostra isn't an Italian thing. Jew apologist logic. Interesting. Yes. But to go to the clip, though, one thing I'll say before I turn it to Josh is I'm kind of curious, what does Tucker mean by real backlash that's not Nick Fuentes? Right? What is the real backlash? And maybe he just means the general kind of overture of maybe mainstream Republicans and conservatives also saying we're done with Ben. Maybe that's what he was pushing towards. But I'm curious, your thoughts, Josh.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up, because this is actually something Nick Fuentes has talked about before. And basically what it comes down to is, as we know, Nick Fuentes is not a virile, hatred-filled anti-Semite. He's not an actual Nazi. He does not call for violence against anybody. He doesn't want to bring back the camps. You know what I mean? So
that's news to me.
So he's not like a Hitler Nazi, like we're going to kill them all type thing like they think. The point being, though, is that a couple years ago, you could get away with this kind of stuff because no one cared about the Jews. You know what I mean? It wasn't that anyone had any strong feelings about them. People just were apathetic because it wasn't in the know. But now with October 7th, they are executing a genocide. They are frantically trying to get us to support it. And normal people are seeing this and they're like, yo, what the hell? And then what the byproduct of that is they are revealing the level of corruption and the level of influence that they have over our country, and people are getting pissed. And you've seen that when Nick Fuentes said Charlie Kirk was not killed by Israel, people that just got red-pilled were like, Nick Fuentes is bought by the Jews. You know what I mean? And he basically said as much. He goes, you think I'm the bad guy? I'm trying to cool everything down. I'm trying to solve this peacefully. What happens if you keep overplaying your hand and then even me, by comparison, I'm the good guy?
Right. And well, this is one of those things where, House just kind of picked up on it, right, with Project Esther. That is one of their defined goals. It's outlined. You can look this up. I'm pretty sure you can still find it on the Heritage Foundation's website. this has been a plan. It's been a plan since they initiated it in 2024. It's been heavily talked about. And one thing I would add in there too, you remember that famous tweet from Stephen Wolfe, the the guy who wrote The Case for Christian Nationalism, and he had a very famous tweet. White Christian men, the lone bulwark.
Yeah.
So it's like it used to be like his biggest tweet. And so the thing with it is I would see people quote tweeting it every so often. And the reason why they would was because that tweet in particular had controls on it. So like I would know that I liked it in September. I would see Orrin McIntyre quote it and say in December. I would go look at the tweet. Lo and behold, my bookmark, my like, my repost are all gone. So I would do it again. I would repost it, I would like it, and I would bookmark it. 3 months later, someone else quotes it, I'll see it again. And so there's certain tweets like this. One tweet that I like of my own every single day is my pinned tweet. And that tweet is my documentary about Project Esther. So there are certain things that they have specific controls about, and Project Esther is one of those. And so I will say it again. I encourage every single one of you to understand what that project is and read it out, and specifically read out their desired outcomes or desired effects. So DE 1 through 21, I believe. It's towards the end there, and you'll get a real idea of what they're actually pushing for here.
Yes, I advocate. I've seen Atlas's documentary. It's very good. I actually watched it for the first time recently, and it's a banger, dude. Check it out, guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you, brother. And thank you guys for all the super chats as well and all the new subscribers. Thank you, guys. Moving on to Thursday and actually picking up on this kind of sentiment here. And it's exactly what Josh was kind of getting at. And it goes in the line of the assassination there with Israel and many others, including like Thomas Crooks and including like, chemtrails, including the vaccine and COVID. And so the general point here, and you can go to the Epstein files, right? And obviously the change of rhetoric there, the flip-flopping. The idea here is how much more do these people think the American people can take? How much more obvious and overt lying and changing of hands and obvious kind of money exchanges will the American people put up with before there is some kind of real reckoning? And so that's kind of the first clip we're going to go to here from Nick. So I'll go ahead and play this. And again, understand, this is kind of off the back of where we were at with the Epstein files, which went from the entire group and all of them. And this is the best point, really. All of them doing tours. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, the Timcast IRL crew. You go to like Luke Rudkowski's group. You go to like Clint Russell. You go to the entire circuit. What were they all talking about for basically 5 years straight? It was Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein, the files, the involvement, where's it going to come from? And like the drop of a hat, when Trump says, why are we still talking about it? Everyone goes, you're right. It's all fake. It's a hoax. And so off the back of that, this is where Nick is kind of capturing this energy of people going like, listen, dude, I can believe in a coincidence the first time. I believe in a coincidence the second time. Now we're on coincidence 418,000. Something's going on here, but here's the clip.
It's the most evil shit imaginable. You're covering up a child sex trafficking ring because you're implicated in it. And the consequence of this is you have to give Israel missiles to murder children by the millions and drag your own country into another war, the very kind of war that you ran to stop. Like, there's layers of evil here. Sex crimes and murder and conspiracy and treachery and deceit. All of it. And people are so disgusted and furious. And they're just, I'm telling you, the people of the country are furious. You think I'm angry? I'm at least a little cheerful. The people of this country are furious. They are beside themselves. How much longer and how much more of this do you think people will tolerate? How much more of it do you think people will take? How many more weird school shootings and weird assassination attempts, sex trafficking rings, wars? How much more of this do you think people will take? How many more dead Charlie Kirks, weird stuff going on around that? How much more of that do you think people can take before they're ready to vote for something really radical? Something destabilizing. That's where this is all going. All of it. We want a fucking country. We don't want to be invaded by 10 million illegals in 4 years. We don't want to go to war with Iran over fake nuclear weapons. We don't want a government that's apparently in bed with child sex traffickers. Is it too much to ask? Are those unreasonable demands? Am I a Nazi for saying this? Seriously. 10 million illegals in 4 years? A war with Iran over nuclear weapons that don't even exist. Is that a joke? Epstein files being buried? Aren't you the guy that was going to stop all this? Who are you? It's like, what is this, Bill Clinton and George Bush put together? I mean, we elected Trump as a repudiation of the legacy of all these presidents. He's all of them rolled into one. He's a warmonger like Bush. He's a sex criminal like Bill Clinton. He's demented like Joe Biden. We elected him to repudiate these presidents. He's all of them put together. And we can't even deport illegal aliens. We're deporting anti-Semites. America's a sleeping giant, and this is why we want to wake up the country. The country's furious. There's anger. There's so much potential energy in the country. And all it's going to take, watch. It's going to be a crisis. It'll be maybe a mass casualty event, economic meltdown, World War III will pop off, whether it's in the Taiwan Strait or it's in Iran or it's in, but war is coming. All of these things are hurtling towards us. And then it's going to explode and a sleeping giant will wake up. America will wake up.
And that's kind of the sentiment here. Let me go to the super chat before it disappears on me. This is something from Rob Vin. He says, I don't know if it's me, but when Trump said, what Epstein files, we are still talking about that, is when I noticed a lot of MAGA saying F you to MAGA and Trump. And appreciate the super chat. And what I was going to say to that, Josh, actually, is your moment with the 600,000 Chinese students. My moment of no return was the Epstein files. When I'd kind of had like this little bit of belief was like, maybe there's still a chance, maybe they'll come around, maybe like the overwhelming, anger from the people will get them to kind of correct course. And when he said that about Epstein, I was just like, it's over. That we're never, this is over. It is everything that Nick basically said it was. But Josh, your thoughts?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I agree. The Epstein stuff is crazy. And it's basically like we, in our sphere, we've known for a while, Trump, like I basically argued that Trump got bought or he got assimilated through either blackmail or, just whatever, like they just literally bought him. But I'm at this point, I'm questioning whether whether any of this was genuine, especially with the leaks that have come out recently about like what's in the Epstein files. And Nick actually surmised it pretty well earlier in the week, where he said, what this does is it shows beyond the shadow of any doubt, Trump lied. He bold-faced lied. And he can never, ever, ever mend that. I mean, he's insane, dude. What Epstein files? Oh yeah, we're gonna release what Epstein files? Right. Are you kidding me, dude? And Nick also said this week, he goes, think about all the stuff that's in those emails we've seen. And what's the worst one? I mean, can I even say it on here? I'm kind of a little sensitive about saying things, but
go for it.
Donald Trump be Puffin Peters, the Gen Z crowd, we never thought that Bill Clinton's hog would be in the news again, but yet here it is. And so that's what's going on in the world. And that's just what we still have. Epstein got arrested for the first time 20 years ago. Think about, and now, I mean, Ben Shapiro is playing defense. He's covering it up. Think about what's been destroyed in that time. This is what's left over. It's crazy to think about. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you went on Epstein Island and it was like there's a portal to hell in the basement. Like that's how bad it is.
Well, so I kind of likened it similar to, Alex Jones, right? In terms of like, how did Trump ultimately get assimilated? And it was in my opinion, I think it was the lawfare. The same way that we all kind of understand that Alex Jones can't really push too hard on anything anymore is because he knows they'll come at him with lawfare, and try to cripple him and basically liquidate his entire company, which they're still trying to do actively, but they would really kind of, shove the nail through the coffin if he pushed it. Is the same way I view Trump with facing, what was it, like 4 criminal court cases at once? And, knowing the age that he was at, knowing that the way that they would treat him if they did a conviction, if they did get him in, knowing that they would probably pull out all the stops, try to give him like the worst kind of cell, the worst conditions, the worst guards. And already for a person of that age, it's a death sentence to be in prison for any amount of time, even if you are getting some of like the best amenities. And so I do think, maybe that was where the pairing happened, was in Trump's actual fear of, if I don't win the presidency, like it's over for me. And so he was probably in a position where it's like, I don't even care. I'll take Adelson's $200 million, whatever. But the overall point here is people don't give a shit. Like, we don't care. It's like, there's no cost. When you're talking about the abuse of children and the trafficking of children and women, especially young women, I think for the most people, they just go like, we don't care. There's no cost that you can't bear for this. And if you're willing to partner with that, like, we're done with you. And that's kind of the base sentiment here too, which is like, I can go to Queens in New York and talk to a random black dude, and he'll know who Epstein is. And when the average person is that level of aware of like, there's something up with the government and something is related to this kind of weird, sexcapades, you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. And we're kind of stuck with this now, and it'll never change until we get full transparency on what that is. And if that burns the country down, so be it, I guess. But moving on to the next one here. This one's actually about Brandon Tatum, and it's going to be a bit funny, but it's Nick making fun of Brandon Tatum. And Brandon Tatum is one of these $7,000 posters, right? He's a guy who very noticeably had a change in rhetoric. I would say maybe about a month or two ago, probably right around the time when Charlie was assassinated. Brandon Tatum has nonstop kept Israel's phallus about 9 inches deep into his throat. And it just continues. I mean, it's a daily thing. And so Nick gives a very funny and nice rebuke of Brandon Tatum's kind of antics. And we all know that Brandon Tatum's basically compromised at this point. But here is Nick teaching Brandon Tatum how to read.
We'll get set up here.
Vexine sent $20. I cut my lip on yogurt cover frown.
Okay, thanks
I made
for
Cookie
that.
sent $20. If Brandon Tatum can't read, does that mean he's terrified of words like hippopotamonstrous esquipedaliophobia? Like, he's too illiterate to even know what he's afraid of. Help me out here, King. Why debate someone paid by Israel who can't read? Might as well debate Mayweather next. God bless you, bro.
Yeah, it's a shame. Brandon Tatum, he can't read. It's actually sad. I feel sorry for him. I think he's just embarrassed. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he feels embarrassed that he can't read. It's got to be so awkward. Imagine you go with Brandon Tatum to a restaurant that he's never been to before, and they hand him a menu and he's looking at it and he's like pretending to scan the words. And you're like, so Brandon, what do you think you're going to order? And he's like sweating. I don't know. What you going to order? And you're like, I don't know. I just can't make up my mind. What do you think? I got to go to the bathroom, man. I got to go to the bathroom. He like looks around at other people's dishes. Oh, okay. See someone with a steak. I don't know. I guess I'll get a steak, man. Like, I feel bad for him. I feel bad. There's got to be like a program. Maybe we can start a nonprofit and we can get someone to teach him to read. We can get like a bleeding heart liberal white woman. It'll be like one of those old movies. It'll be like The Blind Side or what's that other one? The Green Zone, The Green Mile. What the fuck is that movie? It'll be like one of those feel-good movies from the 90s or the 2000s where like, a white guy goes to the ghetto and finds the one black kid who needs a fighting chance to get out of the gangs and the violence. We'll go to Brandon Tatum. He's going to get all mad. It'll be like those TikTok clips. Brandon, I know you're angry, but why are you angry with me? I'm the one giving you an opportunity. I'm going to teach you to read. And then in the end, you sort of embrace. You're like, bring it in, man. It's okay. We help each other. You're going to teach me how to dance. I'll teach you how to read. So I feel bad for Brandon Tatum. I forgive him. I forgive him. Brandon Tatum, I forgive you. All your anger, your rage. Anger just comes from ignorance. So we're going to help you out, buddy.
I love him, dude. It's like I crack up nonstop listening to some of these clips here. And, the comparison to the Blind Side movie, like it's going to be like the Blind Side. I thoroughly
Brandon
enjoy.
Tatum needs a pop-up book menu, and he likes to go to Bonefish so he can draw on the table in crayon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he needs the special 4 crayon pack: red, green, blue, yellow. It's not going to be too hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's funny, and I'm glad he's doing this because ultimately this is kind of where we're at now. To actually thoroughly remove somebody's ability to influence people in the conversation, you kind of have to go from this comedic position. You have to literally make fun of them to such a degree it humiliates them. And now it makes the next person who listens to him go, man, there's Brandon Tatum struggling to read again, man. And it catches on. But I do enjoy it. And anybody who's still in that Plain Trustor crowd. But go ahead.
My bad. No, finish your point.
No, I was just going to add to anybody in that Plain Trustor crowd. Crusader Pepe, Captive Dreamer, all of those people, what's his name? Goyle, Sobek, every single one of them. Treat them like this. Treat them like the buffoons that they are, the liars that they are. Yeah, but go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, now I feel like it's 9:12. I feel like we were in such a rush to move on. Now we're kind of going too fast. But This actually reminds me. These are one of those Nick monologues where he like just beats someone down. I don't know, because you said you became a Groyper like 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember these, because he's kind of cozying up to Marjorie Taylor Greene a little bit now. Like they're kind of mending that a little, not quite all the way there. But when she betrayed him initially, he had a very similar monologue. I remember because I was in tears laughing, where he was like, she's got like Cro-Magnon man physiognomy. She's on Capitol Hill on all fours, like her knuckles are a little bloody because she ran to work that day.
Yeah.
And it's like her husband is like wrapped around her stomach while she's doing pull-ups at the gym,
Well, to be fair, I find Marjorie Taylor Greene to be a bit of a repulsing person. I covered I covered her cheating affair, and it was very disgusting. Not to get too much into detail, but we'll sidebar here. She had an affair with her husband with like multiple guys, and one of the guys, no joke, was a polyamorous, polysex. The guy had a blue faux hawk. He had one of those constipated like powerlifters builds too, and it was like. Anyways, so I don't put too much, morality into Marjorie Taylor Greene, but it is cool to see them. And this is kind of the coalition. This is what I was saying, maybe not last week, but 2 weeks ago. You can kind of see it now, right? Thomas Massey, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens. These people are moving away from the MAGA. Like they are purposely outlining themselves as like they're taking a step away from MAGA. Or maybe they are what used to be MAGA while everyone else is stepping away. And my kind of idea with that was, would you not support that coalition over the current mainstream Republican Party? Would you not rather be supporting MTG, Massey, and Tucker and Candace, although I know there's obvious nuances there, versus Vance, Rubio, Stephen Miller, Caroline Leavitt, like that kind of crowd? And I think the answer is obvious. It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of those things where it's like we do, like Nick says, we have to take our own side. And I get that Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't perfect, and Tucker Carlson is not perfect. But we need to have they're okay. Let's work with them no matter what. We need conditions. We need conditions from Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're going to say, hey, we're going to work with you, but we're not going to let you forget the betrayal. And Nick actually went on a monologue about that last night, where he said, look, I haven't been super critical of Marjorie Taylor Greene recently, but she did betray me. And after she stupidly made a deal with McCarthy and then the Republicans threw her under the bus, now she's seen the light. Now she's pro-MAGA again. And it's like, look, we got to win. If she wants to help, we're not going to turn her away, but we will not forget what you did, Marjorie.
So my thing is like, especially on these ends too, because I'm taking our own side as well. And I guess maybe I look at it from a bit more of a strategic standpoint, but I would imagine many people have probably played any kind of strategy game where there's an element or a mechanism where like the enemy unit can convert your units. or they can do something where it could convert one of your units to their side. And with knowing that, a lot of the times people end up they sacrifice parts. They know they got to send someone over there to get critical damage on something, but they know they're going to lose that piece. That's kind of the way I look at some of these pundits, right? Candace Owens, Tucker, MTG. Like, I don't need to be friends with them. It's like, are they hitting the right person? Are they shooting the target I want them to be shooting at? It's like, if the answer is yes, it's gas. If the answer is no, it's break. And I do think there's a lot of getting like too, invested into it. And I understand, especially as like pundits, you want to feel like you're actually emotionally invested into the person you're supporting. But with some of these big ones, it's kind of hard to tell really where they're getting their money milked. And so with that, I kind of have a bit more pulled back position where it's like, I get the irritation, I get like the shit flying, but for me, it's like, I'll still be glad that they did good things that moved the conversation in the right direction. Like, I still think Candace is an idiot, but we can't deny the fact that she has kept the Charlie Kirk assassination alive and well and on fire in the mainstream, basically forcing a lot of people into TPUSA out into bad positions. And so I think that's a positive development.
Yeah, I basically agree with you where these people, there's this idea on our side where everyone's a Fed except me. But everyone's a Fed. And if someone is a Fed, if someone is compromised in any way, if they don't agree with us 100%, then we can't trust them whatsoever. And I do understand because this is, I think, a reaction to how politics has been, where we trusted Donald Trump. We trusted all these politicians. It's like, yeah, he's not perfect, but he's pretty good. And then what happens? He gets in and he betrays us. But what Nick Fuentes is advocating for, and ultimately I think you and myself as well, Atlas, is look at the results. Thomas Massie is what he is useful as right now is a what's the word I'm looking for? He's a casualty.
Right.
He is useful because the policies he's making, whatever. Marjorie Taylor Greene, like what she's doing on Capitol Hill doesn't matter. What is important is she is being put on the chopping block by Donald Trump. Why? Because she is calling out Israel. So her usefulness is to be a sacrificial lamb, so to speak, on this issue.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, go back to the strategy game comparison. I'm going to make the audience tired of these. I play a lot of strategy games. It's like a mercenary. It's like you pay for the mercenary, but you can't control the unit. It's like, I need them on the battlefield because we need the numbers, but I can't tell them what to do. So it's like, I just hope they get some good hits in, man. And like, we'll win this.
What the hell are you talking about? No one knows what y'all talking about.
I know. I'm showing my age a little bit, actually.
Strategy game. I want to say before we move on to like more serious topics, there was a clip that I included on Thursday. It's number 4. This is one of those monologues where it's like, to me, this is what separates the Groypers from like the right-wing retards, where it's like Nick Fuentes will say something that's clearly a joke, that's clearly funny, and it's one of these things where it's like the Catboy thing. You remember the infamous Catboy thing where he's like, look, it's not Christian, but these females, they're messing it up. Maybe there's an argument to be made for the Catboys. It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. And to me, I was watching this clip as it was, like when I was watching the show and I saw this, I was like, we have to talk about this one because I know just thinking about like certain people, they're gonna see this and be like, how dare he? This is a perfect clip, like a perfect example of that.
Right. No, and one thing I'll say before we play the clip, we have 163 watching right now and only 86 likes. Smash
double salute
the like button. I don't care if you have to swerve off the road, hit that button. I do not care. Call AAA. We'll get you later. All right. Anyways, here's the clip. Let's go ahead. Number 4.
Here's the thing. Everybody would say, I would never go. Me, Epstein Island, I would never. And it's like, dude, you're telling me Jeffrey Epstein was probably so cool. Like he was probably the coolest guy you know. You're telling me the coolest guy you know who knows everybody says, hey, we're going to go on my private jet to my private island. We got hot girls. He doesn't tell you how old they are. How fucking lame would you be? are they 18? Like, who's going to be the nerd that asks that? You probably would just assume they are. Or that it's in international waters, so it doesn't matter, you know, but like, you're telling me you would automatically say, no, like you don't know what's going on. All everybody knew was that he was the coolest guy in town. The coolest guy in town says, hey, I'm rich, private island, private jet, hot girls all week. Let's go. Great food. You're telling me you'd be like, are they, Jeffrey, are they all 18 though? You're telling me you would be the nerd that would ask that? You have the balls to say that? Honestly, that just sounds kind of gay, to be honest with you. Could you imagine you're like, take Epstein out of it for just a second. What if it was like someone you knew in real life and he's like, dude, we got girls. We're going to a party. It's going to be great. And you're like, wait a second. Pull them aside. Can I see their IDs? Like, no one would say that. So you could see, but look, but this is how he entrapped people, because this is how people are. Take your Israeli.
The funny thing
family
there
and
is
go
I know how
home.
most people probably heard that, right? Like how that comes across. But the thing is, it's real, right? It's like, when you think about the way that it probably does show itself and like how it probably developed and how these people did come to meet Epstein and the way it did. Next thing you know, they're in a club, they got drugged by something. They're like, and then now you're on tape, you know, it just kind of happens and flows. And that's the other thing too, is like, when you think about your average politician, do you think they're really like a moral person? Like, no. Like, I just think when I think about in high school, all the people who wanted to be politicians, and I'm like, those are the people who are in office now. It's like, those people sucked. Like, those people are awful people. But I didn't think it was funny. Let me get the super chat across too. This is from a filthy, angrish Irish peasant. He says,
Zeb did the same thing on our show. That's funny.
did he? That's cool. He says, not hitting the like button means you're fed. And definitely thank you to the 12 Patriots who smashed it during the clip was playing. I did see that. Thank you very much. But Josh, your thoughts?
Yeah, dude. I thought that was so funny because it's like, yeah, Epstein, pedophile, you know, like sex criminal. Of course, like we're all Christians here, but we also are human beings and we live in the world, and we could say, have any of y'all seen the edits, the like fangirl, like they're ironic obviously, but like the fangirl Epstein edits where they're, you know, like the baby girl energy. Damn, I'm probably like making myself look so bad, but like,
yes,
like Biden edits it's like he probably was cool. I mean, there's a reason Ben Shapiro isn't running Epstein Island, because he's like, you think, hey, Mark Levin, you want to come to my island? You know, like there's a reason they don't have him. Jeffrey Epstein, you see the like, I plead the fifth. He was probably cold as hell, man. And it's true. It's like,
right.
Are we not allowed to say these things? We could say, yeah, Epstein we could say Hitler was a bad guy, but he was also a good leader.
That's what I was going to compare it to.
Epstein was a bad guy, but he was also cool as hell, man. Private island, private jet. Let's go. Like,
well, that's what I was going to say.
Think about it like this.
Go ahead.
Think about it like this. Do you think a senator in like 2009 knows what Lolita means? You know what I mean? Like if he's like, hey, come on the Lolita Express. He's like, okay, what's that mean? It's like, oh, don't worry about it. All right. And then and they get back and they see Epstein's been killed. They're like, oh, shit.
Right. Well, your point's exactly right, because that's kind of the same way this clip comes across. It's like the Stalin thing. People hear that and their brains are going to immediately turn off, and they're going to be like, he thinks Epstein was a cool guy. What, he fully endorses everything Epstein did. And it's like, all right, dude. All right. See, we're in kindergarten again, aren't we? You know, this is kind of the Brandon Tatum level stuff. It's like, this guy must not be able to read, the shackle thinking type stuff. But there was another funny one in here about the Dark Knight. Did you want to cover that one and move on to Friday?
I included that one just in case. I think let's move on. This was basically like a super chatter just being retarded. I thought if we have time at the end, maybe we can circle back to it. But I say let's just move on.
Because the one I really want to hit is the one we added at the very end, the Saturday clip.
Yes, we have to talk about that. Yeah.
Dear Groypers. We'll get to it. Okay, here's the first one actually, because this one I probably won't even end up putting on screen. Because Mike's not set up for it. But Dasha. How you say it? Dasha
Nekrasova.
Dasha Nekrasova. And she's from the Red Scare podcast, right?
Yes.
So this was, and many of you probably saw this and saw the clips of it because they made all these like weird like edits of like the girl and Nick. It was odd, honestly. But she was fired from her talent agency because she had Nick on her podcast. And then furthermore, she was released and let go from the film that she was supposed to be in. And so this is kind of the reaper of Nick Fuentes, right? You know, all these people who end up having him on, there are a lot of people who end up suffering major consequences. And for people like PBD and Tucker, because they own their own stuff, they're not going to take any consequences. But for Dasher, it looks like she had a lot more kind of oversight over her, and she is now no longer with their talent agency. And this is just unfortunate because this is why people don't touch him. This is why a lot of people are afraid to have him on their show, and because they don't want to take on the being demonetized or being put in a sphere like that. And you're going to think too, not too many people have the social skills to be able to manage like a defense from even their own family members of, why did you have a conversation with a Nazi? Like that's a hard thing for a lot of people to kind of stretch across. But in terms of kind of the big release of the Epstein files, we got Danica Blowinski, something that Josh brought up earlier. This is Nick's kind of funny response over the signs always being there from Donald Trump. Now, if you're not familiar with what's going on, there's a email that basically kind of foretells and tells really that Donald Trump did something to Bill Clinton's hog. Well, he puffed it. He treated it like a Nintendo game cartridge. He blew on it.
Yo, let's go, dude.
But here it is. Here's the clip. Let me pull it up for you guys.
Master 69 sent $20. Really unfortunate that Trump has been outed as gay. This is definitely worse than if he had sex with some teenage girl. Do you think he's a top or bottom?
Well, all they said is that he blew Bill Clinton. So does that count as top or bottom? I don't think that counts. So I don't know. I don't think that's real. It is funny though. The idea, well, hey, the signs were there. What's his fucking anthem? His anthem is the YMCA by the Village People. That's crazy that like diehard Trump supporters called me gay. And then they went to the RNC where he was dancing with the Village People to the YMCA on stage. Like self-awareness much? But yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. But he doesn't seem, but who knows, when you go to Epstein Island, what happens on the island stays on the island. You never know, right?
Headmaster 60.
And so what's funny is actually when I told my wife the same thing, I was like, do you see like what this latest release is? Even she was like, okay, I don't buy that, right? Like, it's like, there comes a line where it's like, okay, maybe this is like, a bit of a Democrat hoax. Before Josh goes, let me read the super chat, because I think he's talking about you, Josh. It's from Mark Vendy. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. He says, the guy on the right, Josh, not me, I'm on the left, Dad never liked him. He took him to the zoo hoping his real parents would claim him. On hunting trips, he'd give him a 5-minute head start. Rodney Dangerfield jokes. Thank you for the super chat.
Yo, now I'm like, hold on. How does Rodney? He's like, the guy on the right, the dad never liked him. He took him to the zoo.
Yeah, you gotta see with the right cadence.
Friendly fire. What happened? It is funny. This Mark Vendy guy, I was actually going to sing his praises. He posted something in regular chat. He said, what a Cohen, like Cohen, what a coincidence. That's a banger, dude.
Yeah.
That is a banger. But screw you now. You're a bully. Leave me alone.
You want to explain that joke a little bit more to the audience? What's Cohen related to?
Cohen is a common Jewish last name.
Thank you for explaining, sir.
What a coincidence. That I am stealing that. That's my that's my Jewish behavior of the day. Hey, listen, if I'm going to be the undercover goy, I got to play the part,
Listen, I can't let you skate by with this. The most Jewish behavior Josh does is he makes Zeb set up the whole system for him. Before we go live, Zeb does it all.
Well, okay, I don't know if I should say that, but I was going to say I am differently abled, as they say. And I'm like, Zeb, please help me. Also,
no. Josh knows what to do. He's just making the Gentile work for it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. I got caught. Yeah, I like having Zeb wait on me hand and foot.
Expose him. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not that Jewish. Kind of black, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's a little bit black.
Being
Hey,
not
I'm black from the
able.
waist up.
Can I get an Indian in here to help Josh?
What are you talking about? I'm right here. So what you're going to do is let me control your computer. Have you ever actually done that? Have you ever actually let an Indian control your computer?
Yeah, had to. When I worked for a insurance company, they had to build a second profile out because they kept all the business stuff separate because I was working from home. And I had to turn it over to him for like an hour. And it was impossible to understand him. You want to click on the thing?
That was
what? You say that again?
What you're going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to redeem the card.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to do it once, and it was one of the most like scary moments of my life. Like I was locked into what he was doing.
That's fine.
But anyway, where were we? We were talking about Donald Trump. Was so Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Was going down to Epstein Island, and all I'm gonna say is Hillary Clinton stuck with Bill for a long time. Monica Lewinsky was all there for it, and Donald Trump too. I'm starting to think Bill might be hog heavy. You know what I mean? If his hog is getting in the news like at least once a decade, this man, it's got its own gravity. That's all I'll say. It's got range.
Word was getting around, man. Hillary's passing it on. He'll sling
Donald
10
Trump
inches
was
to you night and day.
Yo.
Okay,
Donald
moving
was
on.
like,
Moving
I've
on.
got to see
Pause. It's hard to not be gay when Josh is
Yo.
on air. Just kidding. Pause.
Whoa. Hey, what can I say? My dad didn't take me to the zoo or whatever. He gave me a head start on the hunting trips.
Okay. All right, resetting.
All right.
The next thing we're going to go to, this actually is serious. So Nick capturing again on the energy, all this kind of anger with all this stuff coming out, all this kind of unbelievableness. And he turns it around and he basically kind of gives a great kind of motivational kind of pushback to this. And so the gist of it is basically saying, us being pushed around by all of this, the World Jewish Congress and all of this organized Jewry across the board, all of this kind of gaslighting, like we're done with it. And so his message was, we want justice, the truth, and the cross. And so here's this clip, if the computer will work with me. Here we go.
This narcissistic self-obsession. It's like a form of solipsism. Their trauma, their community, their jokes, their Yiddish vernacular. We're sick of it. We're sick of the double standards. We're just done with that stuff. And there's basically just one person taking all the hits to say it. And everybody that's talking about anything else is really falling by the wayside. People don't want to hear about some like generic appeal to the nuclear family or faith or being vaguely conservative or what non-interventionist or libertarian. Fuck all that. We want our freedom. We want our independence. We don't want to feel like we're being ruled by an ethnic gang. It's that simple. It's that simple. People are tired of being insulted and humiliated and ruled by a rival group, by some self-obsessed ethnic group. And it would be the same if it was any other group, but it happens to be this one. It's no different than any other hostile occupation. If the Chinese invaded America and they were running Hollywood, someone spoke out against the Chinese, you're fired. Anyone that talked to that person is fired. People would say, you know what? Fuck this. Should it be like that? Should we live in an Orwellian state of fear? I can't talk to a person because they criticize Jews? Literally, I can't talk to that person. I can't be photographed with that person. If I talk to that person, I have to get my notes and provide ample feedback, ample pushback. But you didn't tell him that he's a bad person. Where do you even... It's disgusting. This whole situation that we find ourselves in, it is so contemptible. It is so offensive. It is so unjust. This is not just. This is not right. This is not proper. We can twist ourselves into a pretzel explaining the minutia and the complexities and how convoluted it is. But suffice to say, it's bullshit. We are fucking fed up with it. We do not want to be bullied by Jews anymore. It's that simple. And that's literally like the contention of my show, because that's what happened to me. And I happen to be a very conservative 18-year-old college student. But, you know, you could be any other kind of a guy. You could be an 18-year-old liberal brown Muslim that wanted to criticize Israel from the other side. You could be some other person in some other industry that liked this show and talked about it too openly, and now you're getting fucked with at your job. This is where I engaged with it. As an 18-year-old young Republican, I said, gee, boy, I want to put America first. And there was the lobby with their hand up saying, not so fast. That's anti-Semitic. And now you're fired and you're a terrible person. We're going to destroy your reputation and spread rumors about you. And people are like, you know what? Fuck you. Like deep. And Tucker is out there saying like, we can't become like them. And it's like, we have to fight this. Not violently, not in a cruel way, not in a hateful way, but let's just get comfortable with this terminology. This is not just. We want justice. We want righteousness. We want the truth. We want the cross. We want Jesus Christ to prevail. Not this like kill everybody to make Israel stronger. No. So insofar as I represent resistance, rebellion, revolution, independence, the truth, it actually doesn't matter the rest of the things that I am, which people might say, you're weird, you're a freak. That's what they say. Well, then get some normal guy to fucking do what I'm doing then. Get some fucking normal Bob. Get some normal Bob buff pants out here. But I'm the one taking the hits.
Josh, your thoughts?
It was like a banger speech, but the get the normal Bob,
Right.
it threw me off because the whole freak Bob thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's got a Bob in chat.
Hell yeah, dude. It's so true though. It's these people. They're so self-obsessed. Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, whatever. They're so self-obsessed and they can't fathom. It goes to show you like their neurotic beliefs about us, where it's like they've drank their own Kool-Aid. It is the greatest sin to them that we exist at all, and that we are not actively apologizing, that AtlasThugged and Josh Vandernoord are not actively apologizing for the role that our blood ancestors had in the Holocaust and the Arch of Titus and Rome and the temple destruction, that we are not laying down like on our bellies is the greatest sin to them. And that's the thing, is it's like this is because we have been indoctrinated. Our whole generation, since our parents and grandparents, has been indoctrinated to think that we are wrong, to think that we messed up, we did something wrong, and we have to apologize for it. And we're nowhere near the point where we've made amends, because the truth is that the only way we can truly make amends is to give them everything we have and die. That is the logical conclusion of their train of thought.
Right. And I'll respond here, but let me read the super chats from the Pacey Boy. It says, Groyper's like this video, man. Glad we are on YouTube. And yes, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. And I'm very inclined to agree. And this kind of white guilt indoctrination expands obviously over the Holocaust and what it's used for. Secondarily, also the black guilt, or the white guilt with black relations as well. And so he had a great kind of spiel on this, like a 3-minute clip too, just talking about this overbearing indoctrination. And he kind of has nailed the rhetoric there, which is people aren't ready for when somebody like myself goes up and they're like, well, actually, I think this, and I'm going to say, fuck you. Because that's the breaking out of the barriers. It's everyone else kind of says, well, I can't say that because it's going to be too rude And what is what's my wife and these people going to think about me? It's like, that's over. Caring what people who hate me think about me is over. And the more that people recognize and become awoke to, I hate saying that, but are awake to the fact of the majority of the people trying to tell you what you should do and how you should vote and how you should position your life, for one, don't even share the same values as you, and two, more than likely hate you. So when people start showing up to the board and they're going, why are you doing that actually? Like, exactly how you framed it with Ben Shapiro. How much do you have to hate me to push this shit? How much do you have to hate me to constantly gaslight us constantly all day, every day? And the China comparison's fantastic. Because if it was a bunch of Chinese people all over, embedded here, embedded there, this guy's married to a Chinese woman, this guy's married to a Chinese, they want to constantly push for sending money over to China. We would all sit here and go, what the hell is that? That can't be, we can't have this in our system. But because it's a specific group, and the indoctrination comes from multiple levels, obviously political, but also I would wager too in the Christian faith as well, with evangelicals and the kind of indoctrination there. Ted Cruz, right? Just say the line. If, we got to bless Israel so we can be blessed, right? And that's the stuff that really, really bothers the average person, and especially the average young man who is privy to the fact that many of these things are outright lies. And if they're not a straight up lie, it's basically some kind of, rhetoric meant to inspire some motivation that's based on a false premise. And so overall, we are done with this. And I think the really kind of question is like, as long as we don't get censored, I think we're going to win. I think we'll win.
Yeah, and the whole thing with Dasha Nekrasova, and I was actually thinking they're probably going to come after Aiden in some way, or some of the other streamers that were on with him pretty soon, because that was one of the, and it's so funny that out of all the streamers that have platformed Nick Fuentes in the last few months, who was the one who got the axe? The one that worked in Hollywood.
Yep. Exactly.
Ooh, and it's literally, it's like what Nick Fuentes, we talked about this clip last week with the whole Brett Cooper, Randy Fine drama, where it's like Randy Fine gets on the stage and he goes, I am loyal to Israel. I love Israel more than America. He hasn't said those words, but he basically says it in spirit. And
Right.
then Brett Cooper goes, you love Israel more than America. Whoa, punk the brakes, bitch. Put a stop to that. And I mean, I don't really know much about Dasha, but what does that say? This is an effort now to put the fear back in people. Don't platform Nick. And before, I mean, they waited too long, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, him getting on Tucker has done more damage than they can ever hope to repair.
Right. No, and the thing is too is like, and I'll say it again, right? No putting the genie back in the bottle. I don't know how they expect any of this to go away. And given the fact that they keep doing these ridiculous, like the way that Ben Shapiro talks down to people, it's just, they're bleeding support. Like no way that they expect that to be a good message. It almost feels like, are you intentionally being retarded about this? Are you intentionally trying to make people hate you? But obviously we know there's a lot of different ways they play this and all. But I think, moving to maybe probably the bigger kind of takeaway today, because a lot of what we went through this week was all more of the same. The majority of the news cycle stayed on Epstein and remained there for the majority of it. A lot of videos have been getting posted
and go home
that basically have the title Dear Groyper. And it's a lot of these copy and paste, man's men. And they're really just a bunch of gay. Well, we don't need to rest the channel. They're just a bunch of, beards, essentially, and exactly what that word means. And so we have one from, I believe his name's Gates Garcia. And I'll just let you go. You give your opinion, because I'm about to say something that's not nice. So you go. You give your take on this Gates Garcia video.
Well, it's funny because when Zeb actually sent that to me, and I was like, this dude looks like John Travolta, and he goes, he looks like Misfit Patriot too, which are two homosexual men rolled into one. And of course, it's like, yeah, I've heard of this guy before, but who knows who this guy? Everyone knows who Nick Fuentes is. This is where the young people are, and this nobody is going to get on screen and go, "You've been tricked." And you've been tricked into, you've fallen for the oldest trick in the book, and you've fallen away from the truth, which is everything we've been doing for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
You guys, it's about to pay off, I swear. No one buys it, dude.
Well, it's like, it's the trickster who I just watched steal candy in front of me coming back into the store and saying, I didn't take anything. But let me tell you why you're wrong. It's like, dude, get out of my face. But here's this video, and you kind of nailed it. Anybody who follows Nick for, any decent period of time, the moment you hear this guy speak, you go, oh, Lord have mercy.
Take your Israeli
But here it
family
is. And before I go, I'll just read these super chats before they disappear. First one from, again, from the Pasty Boy says, Aiden has ownership with Kick, so he's good with Nick. And I forgot about that, actually. But thank you for the super chat. And Raven. Okay, Raven, I see what you're saying here. Raven says, please look up Cult of Personality. Thank you very much for the super chat. And yes, I am familiar with Cult of Personality. But here is this. It's from Gates Garcia's, I think, official account. And be prepared. It's probably going to piss you off. Well, if you have any balls, it'll piss you off. But here it is.
Here's Groypers. Let's talk, man to man, because you need to hear this. Not from someone trying to score points or go viral, but from someone who actually cares about where you end up. You've been told you're part of something bigger, that you found a tribe of men who see through the lies, who reject the modern world, who stand for faith, truth, and order. That's the pitch, right? That's what pulled you in. But here's the truth. You're being lied to. You're being used by a group of men who don't want to build anything. They just want to destroy. You've mistaken anger for conviction, cynicism for intelligence, and isolation for strength. But the men leading this so-called movement, your influencers, your online philosophers, they aren't building homes. They aren't building communities. And they certainly aren't building families. They mock the very thing that built civilization, the nuclear family. And they do it under the banner of faith. They preach about masculinity, but don't protect, provide, or commit. They'll talk about virtue, then degrade women. They'll call for tradition, but their lives look nothing like their traditions they claim to defend. Faith isn't something you tweet about. It's something you live. And living it means walking humbly before God, honoring women as partners, raising children in truth, and serving something greater than yourself. That's what men of faith do. That's what builders do. But your leaders? They're phony. Why are you allowing this? You wouldn't let a football coach teach you how to play baseball, so why are you letting boys teach you how to be men? Why are you following men who've never led anything real? Not a family, not a household, not even themselves. Why are you giving your loyalty to people who never built a thing in their lives? Ask yourself this. What's the succession plan for your movement? What happens in 20 years when the men you follow have no sons, no daughters, no legacy, no family dinners, no Sunday morning spent teaching their kids to pray? Who carries the torch when no one has passed it on? The answer is no one, because a movement without families dies in one generation. See, I can tell you this as someone who's lived on both sides, the single man chasing ambition and the husband and father building a legacy. And I'll tell you, after my faith, the most rewarding thing I've ever done is raise my family, my wife and my kids. They are my mission. They're the reason I get up in the morning, the reason I fight, the reason I care about what kind of country we leave behind.
I'll go ahead and separate this into two so we can avoid a copyright. We'll watch the rest of it here. Especially because it seems the majority of what he's talking about. Let me just start with this. I, for one, am raising a family. I know that there are many people here in chat who are raising families. I know that, Josh, we're getting there. I think he might be on the other side. He might swing for their team. We're getting him there. Zeb,
you bastard.
Zeb is.
I'm a Rizless incel.
Fair. But does this not come off as someone who has no idea what the hell he's talking about? He has no idea who his target audience is. There's nothing even, his finger isn't anywhere close to the polls, empty rhetoric. And it's just like, where do these guys come from? Where do they get the money to be this retarded on camera? And then to have the audacity to just sit there and speak so staunchly about the family element, which is like, brother, he's like, don't follow Nick, go follow Trump. Epstein file, Epstein file, Epstein file. What are we, what message is this, right? It's like, this only appeals to someone who literally can't barely breathe through their nose, like mouth breathers, right? This appeals to nobody with any kind of intellect. And I think that's what bothers people. And I think it pisses us off. You think of others in this kind of crowd, right? Pine Sap, you go to Meta Thomas, you go to like Specco. These guys are going to Sunday, either going to church every single Sunday. They're posting about it. They're posting the people who get prayer requests for them. It's like, what the F are you talking about? It's an empty message, and it's only meant to appeal to people who have no idea who Nick is. But those are my opening thoughts. Josh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And let's cut through the BS with this guy. Okay, his problem with Nick is that he's not married and doesn't have kids. Okay, let's hypothetically say he did. So now you're all hunky dory. It's BS. He disagrees with him for one reason or another. Probably Israel. I mean, let's be honest. Probably because he bashes women. But like Nick is going to bash women even when he's married. More than likely, he might tone it down a little bit. But like this is the point. And also he's talking about how you're letting boys teach other boys how to be men instead of men. I guarantee that this guy has not gone through half of the crap that Nick has at 27 years old. I mean, the federal government came down on him. He had his assets seized. They tried to deplatform him. He was basically radioactive. I mean, if he didn't push through and get his message across and like activate Cozy TV, get on D Live, if he didn't overcome, where would he be now?
Right.
He'd probably be dead. It sucks to say, but that's just the case. And this guy's gonna what has this guy ever done? Like, also, real quick side note, the family, like the nuclear family is what made the Western world. Get out of here, dude. Below me. Go DJT on it. But
Well,
but real quick.
Yeah, good.
It's good. I get long-winded.
You sure? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
I was going to say, yeah. And I think the bigger point there is like, what is he going to teach us, right? Like, tell me how your wife puts on the leash, dude. You get on all fours? Like, do you walk like this? Like, teach me how you get dog walked. Yeah, like, I want to know that. Does your wife spit on your food before you eat it too? Like, just like miss me with all this, dude. It's like, I can't. These dudes, they
that one
think
doesn't sound so bad.
they try to come across as like, look at me, so manly, right? It's like, I can do that too, but I'm not going to because I'd rather wear my Christmas sweater. It's like, this is not appealing to men who are basically broken, lost, and are dying for something that speaks to them. And when you basically talk how I would imagine Aaron Wexler would, be a Jewish woman, to speaking down to us, it's like, it's not hitting the right notes here. Before I get too long-winded though, let's go ahead and watch the rest of it. We have about 3 minutes left.
If your leaders tell you that marriage is a trap, that women are the enemy, that family life is weakness, run. Because that's not a movement of men. That's a cult of cowards. Real men don't run from responsibility. They embrace it. They don't sneer at love. They protect it. They don't chase temporary thrills. They plant roots. And if you think that being a man is about being dominant, cold, or detached, you've bought into the same lies as the left, just wrapped in a different slogan. True strength is service. True leadership is sacrifice. True masculinity is the ability to control your impulses, discipline your desires, and love fiercely the people entrusted to your care. You've been told the world is lost, that all hope is gone, that society is too broken to save. That's convenient, isn't it? It lets you off the hook. Because if it's all hopeless, you don't have to build anything. You don't even have to try. But that's a lie straight from hell. The same lie every fallen empire tells itself right before it collapses. Our ancestors didn't quit when the odds were bad. They didn't sit around on live streams complaining about how women dress or how modern life is unfair. They worked. They fought. They built families, churches, schools, businesses. They left something for you. And the question is whether you'll leave something for everyone else. You want to be countercultural? Then get married. Be faithful. Raise kids. Read your Bible. Work hard. Love your country. Serve your neighbor. That's rebellion in a culture that worships itself and despises discipline. That's the kind of man who changes the world, not the kind who hides behind irony and outrage. And I get it. Some of you are hurt. You feel invisible. You feel betrayed by institutions that used to guide you, churches that got soft, politicians who lied, teachers who mocked your values. You have every reason to be angry, but don't let that anger turn you into the very thing you despise. Don't let bitterness steal your future. You've got time to turn around, to stop following the men who profit off your despair, the ones who preach hopelessness because it keeps you watching, the ones who tell you to tear everything down while they live off the chaos. They aren't your brothers. They're your captors. You want to know what real faith looks like? It looks like a father holding his newborn in the middle of the night, praying for strength. It looks like a husband working 2 jobs to put food on the table. It looks like a man on his knees asking God to make him better than he was yesterday. You want to build a movement that lasts? Then start at home. Build a family, build a life, build a faith that doesn't just survive online, but thrives in the real world. Because this country doesn't need more loud voices. It needs more strong fathers, faithful husbands, and men who will choose creation over destruction. So, dear Groypers, it's time to grow up. It's time to lead. You can keep following false prophets who promise power but deliver emptiness, or you can choose something real, something that outlives you. Stop tearing down. Start building. The fight for the future belongs to those who actually have one, and it's up to you. What a gift.
I think I'm going to crash out, not going to lie.
Yay.
It's super gay. You want to go first?
Yeah. Okay. So first off, dude, this is something Nick says all the time. It's like, yeah, if you're a Christian, get married, have a family, if that's what you're called to. But don't pretend that having a wife and kids is like revolutionary and changing the world. Like, oh my God, we're blasting off, we're winning. Like Christ has overtaken the evil American empire because I have a son and a daughter and a wife who doesn't cook and clean. Like, get real, dude. And this is the thing. He belittles Nick Fuentes. And look, I'm not saying Nick's perfect. There's plenty to criticize, but he goes, build something real. Build something real. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Dude, Nick, okay, you have a wife and kids, and that's your world. That's your whole thing. That's what you're doing. Nick is trying to do something for them. Nick is sacrificing his social life, and whether or not that's like what he'd be doing anyway, you can debate about that. But Nick is genuinely trying to change the discourse in the nation for the better, so that your kids won't be overrun in public school by African immigrants who hate them because they racist, because they colonizer blood. What does it matter if you dedicate yourself to having a wife and kids? That's great. But then let's say a couple years down the line, you're 50 years old, and then some Haitians break into your family's house and rape and kill them all. Well, but I was building a family instead of enacting real change when it really mattered.
Agreed. Let me read the super chat before I go. This is from KSman 97. He says, by the founding fathers' definition, Nick wouldn't be considered white. Only Anglo or Saxon peoples were considered white in those times. Just facts. This makes me think of, somebody get this to the president.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
No, damn it. Oh, my favorite white supremacist isn't white.
Hey guys, take it.
Dude,
that's
funny.
But my point to this is okay. Sorry, Nick. Sorry, you single-handedly saved us from Israel's grasp, but we found this one piece back in the Constitution that says technically you're not white, so you're gonna have to go with the rest of them. It's like, dude,
take your
come on, dude. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it's go ahead.
Right, and here's my response to KS, man. It's like, this is something that Nick says. Where is the 9-foot-tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Ubermensch that is saying what Nick is saying?
Right.
Take the W, bro. Knowing a win is a win. Yeah, we get it. Okay, Italians weren't considered whites a couple hundred years ago. What would you rather? Ask yourself this: would you rather have 300 million Italians imported into America or 300 million Congolese? Take the W, bro.
Right. Well, and here's the thing too. Let's get more super chats. We'll get to those in just a second. But to respond first to the latter half of that video, men that don't lead, it's like, you're making this video because Nick is literally leading a huge group of men. Like, for one, it's like, again, this only appeals to somebody who has no idea what the hell is going on. And this whole thing, right, is like, that's what these men left for you. And it's like, wow, yeah, we see what you guys left for us. It's a big pile of shit. We're trying to clean it up. Like, well, you're not saying anything we're not hearing. And this whole thing too, is like getting married, and it's like, having a bunch of kids. It's like, yeah, Matt Walsh is doing that too, but he's chaining himself to the desk of Israel. What does that help here? And to go even further in depth too, it's like I have disdain for people who push this shit. That's what all of you guys did in the generations before us. You got married, you had kids, and you buried your head in the sand and planted the Gadsden flag in your front yard and said, all right, whatever happens, happens, just leave me alone. Well, here we are. Because everyone else did exactly that. And here we are. And what good was it? It's like, but it's all these missing points. He's not on the ball. And quite frankly, he probably got paid to put this out. And I would imagine he probably thought maybe this would be the time to get to be seen. But he got ratioed on this. 4.2 thousand replies, only 3,000 likes, almost 1 million views on it too. If you want to help, you want to speak to Groypers, you got to have an idea of what's going on. And maybe they're not getting it. And maybe this is the point. Maybe this is what they're not getting. We are at the point now where you either join us or you get out of the way. Stand down or walk away. There's no in between here. We are pushing for this, and you guys either come with us or you walk away. Like there's no convincing here. Your argument lost. It's over. We're taking this over. Let me read these two super chats here. From the first one from Raven. He says, nice exists so these guys can be seen. Both side needs to exist. Disagree. Second one here is from the Pasty Boy. He says, where was Paul and Jesus' kids better men than him? Oh, were Paul and Jesus' kids better men than him? I think is the question he's getting across. You want to answer that, Josh?
Yeah, I guess I get the point. Where like essentially that your legacy being your children, some children are assholes. You know, sometimes that just happens, I guess is the point.
Right. No, completely agree. And we did hit the 2 hour mark, and we did reach the end of the week. And just to recap, basically the through line here is the Epstein stuff is the catalyst. It's breaking the back of MAGA and the pressure they cannot withstand. Dan Bongino having all these ridiculous statements. So that's one thing we didn't touch upon. Him posting screenshots of supposedly him trying to reach out to Thomas Massey, and then he lied about it. And then Clint pointed out like he had a 10-minute phone call with you. He just like didn't like what you were saying. It's not that he was ignoring you. These people have lost supply. They thought they could basically gather all their credibility and pull one over one more time on the American people. And we said, no, you're not allowed. You're not doing that one more time. But Josh, any final words?
You said that the Epstein files are breaking the back of MAGA, just like Bill Clinton blew out Donald Trump's back in the 90s, grabbed a lock of his golden hair. No, all right.
I didn't need that visualization.
But you got it.
You're
nonetheless. You have to think about it, because nothing will change if you don't. If you memory hole it, they win. So as much as it pains us to do, you have to think about Donald and Bill.
Read that email and burn it into your brain. Never forget what Donald Trump did to Bill Clinton.
Yeah, and pray there's no video, because we're gonna have a watch stream if there is. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Solo stream from Josh. Not me.
Call in stream.
But with that, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you do smash the like button if you haven't already. Christ is king, as always. Support Kash Patel, ban Pambani from public life. And as always, we will continue to remain the one network that is not afraid to say Christ is king. Everybody had a good night. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Where do you stand politically? Give us your political ideology.
Okay, I can say anything I want.
Yeah, bro. Say where
I don't know, the day-to-day stuff. I'm like, yeah, more bullshit. Another white girl got stabbed to death. Of course she did. What do you expect? For my politics, I just watch America First with Nick Fuentes.
Okay.
I consider myself a Groyper. Sometimes I just wait to hear Nick's take to make sure I have the right take before I make videos, you know? So, yeah, I just go with what Nick says. I just defer all my political opinions to Nick Fuentes at this point. I'm America First. I wish that we had white Christian men running the country. It's unbelievable to me that we have a government that has a policy other than America First. how does that make any sense? We pay taxes, like, use our taxes to benefit the country that we live in.